The corporate power establishment has been proven to be known liars. Trust in the U.S. government is at an all-time low. But for some reason, when individuals start questioning the individual acts of these known liars, we are called conspiracy theorists. We are called nut jobs, lunatics, and now we're being called dangerous. There's a new DHS intelligence report that warns of domestic right-wing terror threats. And in this new report that's being shoved around all over the mainstream media, they warn about these right-wing sovereign citizen extremists. Now, where does this information come? What influenced the DHS and the FBI to come out with such reports? And that's organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center, an organization that has over $200 million. They get their funding from Soros, the Ford Foundation, J.P. Morgan and Chase, and other nefarious, treasonous individuals and organizations. Now, who does this very important group that works very closely with the FBI, with the DHS, with the police departments, who do they label as these patriot extremist groups? No surprise. Us. WeAreChange. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which works with the FBI and DHS on creating these intelligence reports, lumps in WeAreChange, and they lumped us in with neo-Nazis and the KKK. If you've been watching this channel, you know how absurd this is. They go and list all the WeAreChange chapters all throughout the United States, and they had a special expose on me called The Patriot Journalist, where they talk about how there's over 200 independent chapters, mostly in the United States, finding truth behind 9/11. Yes, we're finding truth behind 9/11 because the official 9/11 Commission investigation group said that they never even found the truth. There's 28 pages that are still classified by Obama, who promised to declassify them. Of course, he's a no liar, so he didn't do that. That prove how Saudi Arabia financed the 9/11 attacks. But yet, we are called conspiracy theorists for pointing out these facts on how Saudi Arabia was involved and how family members, rescue workers, survivors of the attacks, and rescue workers were pretty much lied to and screwed by the U.S. government. We talked about what people actually saw on that day, and we talked about real information. But yet, we're called conspiracy theorists. And the Southern Poverty Law Center lists all the WeAreChange chapters, does a special expose on me, and they have been proven to be known liars. The Southern Poverty Law Center actually quoted me completely out of context. They took a quote of me saying in a speech in Pennsylvania that I gave in 2010. They took a speech where I said there's going to be a huge uprising and people are waking up in this country. Then they took another quote at the end of my speech saying that there's going to be a revolution coming soon to the United States of America. What they forgot to mention during my speech, which of course, if you put those two together, it sounds very dangerous. They actually gave this to local police departments. They actually gave this to the DHS and FBI. What they forgot to mention in my speech was the very fact of me talking about
the government doesn't give a damn about you. But guess what? We, as the people of this country, we care about you. And there's a way and there's a chance, instead of us, people fighting people, it could be the 99% of us going after that 1% that controls us.
This was in 2010, before Occupy Wall Street, by the way.
They want us to fight each other. They want conflict. They want this war. But we're not going to give it to them. Because we know the only way to be truly successful is to follow the footsteps of Martin Luther King and Gandhi, non-violent, peaceful resistance. Whenever and throughout history did you see a violent revolution actually get somewhere positively? Whenever there was a violent revolution, it turned to a worse government than it was before. That always happens throughout history. But that is because when you use weapons, when you use violence, you become what you are fighting. You actually become what you are fighting, and you replace it, and you are that same person that you replaced when you use violence, when you use guns, when you try to hurt somebody, when you slander, when you manipulate, and when you lies. When you use that evil power, you become evil. And that's why I'm asking people not to become violent. And I'm asking people to show, and I'm showing people, there's ways of doing this where we can be successful, where we can be peaceful. There will be a change in this country sooner or later. Let's make sure it's a peaceful one.
Yeah, they totally forgot and admitted that whole aspect of my speech about how things are changing so rapidly and we have to make sure it's done peacefully, non-violently, and ultra realistically and done in the right fashion. But yet again, that doesn't matter to the SPLC. They're known freaking liars and manipulators and propagandists who get their money from the ultra power elite, Soros, Ford Foundation, JP Morgan, and Chase, and they go after people who want to make you think, people who make you want to question the reality, people who want to make a better world and to question the known liars and bring out truth out there, people like myself. Now, the DHS and FBI working with this group, the FBI had to dump the Southern Poverty Law Center as their source because of the propaganda that the SPLC was putting out there. They have dumped them officially. But the FBI also later came out and made a statement, said, you know, we're still keeping relations, but we're not officially working together. But they're still cooperating in many ways and many formats. Now, in this article, they list, the DHS report lists 24 sovereign citizen attacks that happened in the United States since 2010. Yes, there are some idiots on the right wing that are totally, I can't even bring the words out to express this, dumb as fuck, and do cause violence. Yes, that does happen. Yes, people like this do need to be stopped, but one thing that concerns me is we're focusing on a lot of people on one side of the spectrum. This is how they divide and conquer you. When it comes to other hate attacks, other mass shootings that happen, when it's someone on the opposite spectrum, like we had in Washington, D.C. a couple months ago, where a right-wing Christian organization group were shot up. That doesn't get all the mention. That doesn't get categorized. People on the left don't get targeted and put on lists like people on the right do. Now, I am not a part of the right wing in any way, shape, or form. I am not a part of the left wing. As you can see, with our presentation here, we try to call it down the middle. We try to make you think rationally and look at sources and information. All the sources from this video will be in the description below, so you could fact check everything that we're saying. You could fact check my speech. You could fact check what SPLC slandered me. You could fact check all this very important information. But the very fact is, the DHS and the FBI, they're targeting and labeling people who threaten the government's authority. And how do you threaten the government authority? By bringing out what they're actually doing and making you critically think about their authority. We're not alone in this fight. That's why public trust in the government is at an all-time low, because they're proven to be known liars. The government is fighting back any way they can, and they're creating these lists, and they want to make you afraid. This report, the main psychology behind it is to send a chilling effect, to make you afraid of resisting, of questioning authority, of questioning the narratives that are being thrown out there that are proven wrong and wrong and wrong, by dismantling the propaganda that's being distributed and thrown and shoved down your throats by the mainstream media. Show them that you're not afraid. Not only share this video, but speak up, question authority, and don't forget, expose this very important new DHS report propaganda. There's crazy idiots on the left, there's crazy idiots on the right. Yes, they have to be dealt with. That is a clear issue. But what we're seeing behind the scenes is pretty much the chilling effect of trying to destroy any form of dissent, any form of rational thinking that questions the government's authority. Do not be afraid. Share this video. Share your thoughts. Speak up. Like this video too, and don't forget to subscribe. Sorry, I needed that plug, because here we don't have over $200 million to support our propaganda efforts. We are here working independently with no influence by any corporation or government, for the people and by the people. Thank you again so much for watching.